One bright sunny morning, a woman named Ramona is watching a video of her late husband, David, on the phone. In the video, David is smiling as he tells her about a wonderful dream he had, one where their farmhouse was beautifully decorated and the yard was filled with Ramona's favorite flowers, irises. He asks what they should name the house, but Ramona, in the video, gently replies that not every house needs a name. David disagrees with a grin, insisting that theirs should have one. The video ends, she replays it. But Ramona is pulled back to reality when her teenage son Taylor opens the window blinds and informs her that the electricity is out. She doesn't respond. Frustrated, he walks away. Ever since the car accident that killed her husband David, Ramona has been left unable to walk and now relies on a walking stick to move around. Alone, she quietly prays to God for strength. Then she makes her way to Annie's room, where she hears her daughter reading stories to her stuffed penguin. After greeting Annie, Ramona notices Taylor playing in the yard with their dog, Charlie. After playing with Charlie, Taylor realizes they are out of dog's food, so he feeds him some of their regular food instead. Then he starts preparing breakfast, only to discover they're out of matchsticks. He heads up to the attic, rummages through his father's old belongings, and finds a lighter. While there, he also grabs David's old coffee cup. Meanwhile, Ramona debates whether she should take her medication, but ultimately decides against it. Then she discovers her phone is dead. With difficulty, she makes her way downstairs, where she finds Annie using a knife to cut cheese. Alarmed, Ramona tells her to stop and instructs Taylor to keep a closer eye on her. A moment later, as she sits at the dining table, Ramona notices there's no plate set for her. Taylor quickly brings one and pours milk into David's old cup. Ramona notices but says nothing. As breakfast continues, Taylor asks if she called anyone regarding the electricity, but Ramona explains that her phone is dead. Visibly frustrated, Taylor vents, but Ramona brushes it off, saying he can go one day without video games. Suddenly, Charlie vomits. Ramona, angry, demands to know what Taylor fed him. He replies that they're out of dog food. She tells him to chain the dog outside. Annie offers to help clean up the mess, and Ramona thanks her. As her gaze drifts to the window, she spots a figure sitting in the yard. The sight triggers flashes of the car accident she and David had been in. Moments later, Ramona is snapped back to reality when Taylor tells her there's a strange woman in the yard. Confused, Ramona moves forward and looks again. The woman is dressed in black, her face hidden by a veil. Annie is spooked, and Taylor, ever the teasing older brother, tries to scare her more, suggesting the woman might be a ghost. Ramona snaps at Taylor to stop scaring his sister. Ramona wonders aloud that the woman is probably lost, and since they can't call the police, Ramona advises the kids to stay inside while she goes out to investigate. Quietly, Annie says, "Dad would have known what to do." A few moments later, Ramona steps outside. Charlie barks from his spot. Ramona approaches the woman and asks what she wants. The woman, speaking in a distorted voice, replies, "How did I get here?" Then she asks Ramona's name. When Ramona gives it, the woman asks if she's married, noting the ring on her finger. Disturbed, Ramona tells the woman to leave and warns that her husband will be home soon. But the woman ominously replies, "Your husband isn't coming back. He died in the car crash, the same one that took your ability to walk." The woman shows her hands, now covered in blood, and whispers, "Today is the day. You called for me." Terrified, Ramona runs. On her way back, she glances at the hen house and sees all the chickens are dead. After getting into the car, Ramona tries charging her phone, but the car appears to be dead as well. Moments later, just as Taylor is about to go outside, Ramona bursts back into the house. Taylor immediately starts firing questions about the woman. Ramona lies, telling him that the woman escaped from the nearby nursing home. And when he questions why she was in the car, she snaps that she was just looking for a flashlight in case the electricity doesn't come back on by nightfall. To shift the mood, she distracts Annie by offering her some ice cream. But Taylor persists. He wants to know if she asked the woman's name. Ramona curtly replies that she didn't, claiming the woman wasn't exactly the talking type. Taylor then suggests they should get Dad's gun. Alarmed, Ramona tells him to go to his room. When he refuses, She hurls a cup in frustration. Taylor doesn't flinch. Instead, he quietly settles into the next room. Ramona sighs, then gets up to clean the broken pieces of the cup. Wanting to calm things down, she assures Taylor that as soon as the power comes back, she'll call the police and get the woman off their property. Just then, Annie comes up and quietly says, "The woman is getting closer." They all look out the window, and sure enough, she is. A few hours later, Taylor is napping while Annie works on her homework. Ramona, lost in thought, begins absent-mindedly picking at the stitches on her wound until it starts to bleed. She's snapped back to reality when Annie asks if she's spelled a word correctly. She looks at the stitching, which looks undisturbed. Then Ramona gently corrects her, saying, "R goes to the right." Annie then asks why Ramona stopped drawing. Ramona replies that she no longer has any images left in her mind. Minutes later, Ramona tells Annie to stay inside and she steps out to check on the woman. She scans the yard, but notices Charlie is nowhere to be seen. All she finds is his chain, buried deep into the earth. Back inside, Taylor wakes with a start and notices that his mother's sneaker is covered in mud. Annie misspells red again and Taylor corrects her. Bored, he starts tossing a ball around, which irritates Ramona. She asks him to stop. Taylor then suggests driving the car to get help from the neighbors. Ramona refuses, reminding him he's not old enough. Taylor, not backing down, proposes walking to the nearby Aurora Acres farm instead. She still says no, and in frustration he calls her. That breaks something in Ramona. She throws the ball out the window and yells at Taylor for never listening, then lashes out at Annie for not writing the letter R correctly. But she quickly realizes her mistake and apologizes to Annie. In that moment, she sees a disturbing reflection of herself driving a knife into Annie. But it's only a pillow in reality. Suddenly, Annie screams. She had stepped on the remnants of broken pieces of cup while trying to get a drink of water. Ramona rushes her upstairs to treat the wound, apologizing for being the reason Annie got hurt. But Annie, with innocent wisdom, says, "It's okay. Accidents happen, like when Dad crashed the car." Meanwhile, Taylor grabs a metal rod and car keys. He heads outside and calls for Charlie, but he gets no response. Then, he gets into the car and turns the key, but the car doesn't start. That's when he notices. The woman is no longer sitting in her chair. He gets out of the car and suddenly sees her reflection. Startled, he begins swinging the rod wildly. Ramona appears just in time and yells at him to stop. He nearly hits her. They rush back inside. Fuming, Taylor accuses Ramona of knowing the woman, of lying about the car, and of hiding the truth about their dog, Charlie, who is actually dead. He calls her crazy. That's the last straw for Ramona. She throws a basket at him. Fed up with everything, Taylor grabs his father's gun, determined to confront the woman, but he finds the bullet packet empty and notices that one bullet is already loaded into the rifle. He then locks his mother in one of the rooms. After reassuring Annie, he heads outside and threatens the woman, telling her to leave in 10 seconds or he'll shoot. Taylor then accuses the woman of killing their dog. The woman rises, removes her veil, and reveals a shocking truth. Ramona lied about how their father died. Inside, Ramona convinces Annie to unlock the door, and when she does, Ramona thanks her softly. Taylor appears and tells Annie to go to her room, but she chooses to eavesdrop instead. He turns to his mother and demands the truth. "You told us Dad was the one who lost control of the car." Realizing she can't lie anymore, Ramona finally opens up about the day the accident happened. They had just moved into the farmhouse. One evening, while out for dinner, David noticed Ramona seemed distant. Concerned, he asked what was bothering her. Ramona confessed that she felt like she was giving herself to everyone: David, the children, the farm. But in the end, it didn't make her feel happy. She felt empty. David reminded her that their children were happy and that they couldn't just uproot again. After all, they had moved out of the city for her, because she said she felt suffocated there. Still, Ramona told him if they can't move again, she can move to another place alone. This upset David. As he was paying the check, Ramona quietly grabbed the car keys as she decided to drive herself. While driving through the heavy downpour, Ramona briefly caught a glimpse of a figure, a woman in black, in the rearview mirror. The next moment, everything went black as the car collided with another vehicle. Meanwhile, Annie notices a ball rolling across the floor and, thinking it's Charlie, starts looking for him. As she searches, the door slams shut on its own. Annie screams when she sees a shadow, the silhouette of the woman. Taylor and Ramona rush in, managing to pull Annie out as furniture and glass shatter around them. After quickly shutting the windows, the trio escapes to the attic. But as they try to catch their breath, the shadowy figure grabs Annie. Taylor reacts fast, blocking the attic window and saving her. The attic door rattles violently. Then, in the flashlight's beam, they spot the woman. Ramona fights her, struggling to protect her children. Taylor tries helping her mother, but he gets knocked down. Annie quickly grabs the flashlight. Annie, holding the flashlight now, hears the woman whisper in a soothing, eerie voice, "I won't hurt you. You're just coming home." Shortly after, Taylor, dazed, gets up and hugs his mother. But then they realize Annie is gone. They rush downstairs. Ramona tells Taylor to stay put while she searches for Annie. He hands her the lighter, and she steps into a strange room. Inside, she sees David, lying on a bed. He smiles, telling her he had the most amazing dream, just like the one in the video. For a brief moment, Ramona feels joy. She hugs him, but soon she senses something wrong. Everything in the room looks inverted, like her name and the time on the clock. Her suspicion is confirmed when David begins to suffocate her. Ramona suddenly wakes up, now seated outside in the same spot where the mysterious woman was earlier. Dazed, she looks around. A version of herself, the woman, now asks, "How did I get here?" She finds herself in the attic again. As she moves toward Annie, she's horrified to see her daughter motionless, with blood on her hand. To her relief, Annie is alive. Ramona tells Taylor to take Annie downstairs. Then, with trembling hands, she picks up the rifle and confronts the woman. The woman doesn't flinch. Instead, she gently tells Ramona that she had always been asking for the strength to let go, and the woman reveals that's why she is here, to help Ramona let go. She also reminds her that Ramona had discarded all the bullets, except one. Broken and on the verge of tears, Ramona asks if her children will be okay. The woman promises they will be, once Ramona let go and gives them their freedom. In that moment, Ramona sees a vision of Taylor and Annie in the future. Happy, strong, and free. With newfound resolve, Ramona asks for one last moment to say goodbye. Downstairs, she gently tells Taylor to take Annie to the neighbors and ask for help. Annie gives her mother the stuffed penguin. "So you won't feel alone," she says sweetly. Back upstairs, Ramona prepares herself. The woman guides her, lifting the gun gently to her chin. As Ramona steadies herself, the woman's shadow merges with her. For one final moment, she sees the penguin. Moments later, Ramona emerges from the house. Taylor and Annie run up to her, wrapping her in a hug. Taylor asks, "Will the woman come back?" Ramona smiles softly and says, "If she does, I'll be ready." Outside, the farmhouse now bears a new name on a wooden sign, Iris Haven. The electricity flickers back on. Charlie, the dog, returns too, alive and wagging his tail. On the easel inside, Ramona's name on her painting looks inverted, suggesting that Ramona might now be living in her fantasy world.